Underdog. Damn. Unleash the power.
Jason Waller here, True Underdog Podcast. I've got my co-host John LeBlanc. We're ready to go ahead and start talking about coaching, start talking about mask. Look at this sick-ass mask, dude. Look at that.
God, you're
Isn't that
twisted.
amazing? It's a ball in the mouth, dude. What's my safe word, dude? What's your safe word?
I don't have one.
My safe word's blueberry. Okay. Here we go. We're going to start today. The episode is called Underbites, and it's Everybody Needs a Coach. And I've been doing this clubhouse thing where we're coaching a lot of people and entrepreneurs. It's taken off like hotcakes. We've been doing a lot of, I've been talking to my CEO coach this week, and I've been trying to coach some people this week. What are your thoughts on Everybody Needs a Coach, John?
Well, I come from the physical fitness world, so that is where, when you say coaching, my head goes. And I'm big into youth sports and coaching, but business is different. Well, it's the same, but it's different, right? I think I have to agree. Like, everybody needs someone to level set them every once in a while.
Yeah, push them, and make them better, critique.
Yeah,
them.
and absolutely, right, and give them confidence. Right. So I agree 100% with you. Everybody does need a coach.
I'm opening up. I don't have any taco hair. See, no hair on my chest.
Would you get that clean shaven chest?
Yeah, you like that? I don't have a lot of hair. I'm not a hairy dude. What do you want me to do?
I'm not either.
I got a Mickey Mouse beard growing and little hair. Well, I would say also on coaching that's really important, John, that I think people need to understand is, when I'm struggling with something, or I do a video or a commercial or podcast, whatever, I ask my friends, family, you, anybody, that if you don't find something wrong with it, you're not my friend. You ain't helping me out, right? Nothing's perfect. So you need to be coached. I yearn to be coached. I want to know what I can do better. I want to be the best I can be. I'm a perfectionist. So no matter what, I'm always asking people to critique it. Oh man, you did a great job. That's not giving me the feedback I need. What could I have worked on? I think that's important, and I try to share that. Sometimes I'm brutally honest. I was doing one of those clubhouse things with, master your pitch, and everyone was pitching their business. A lot of, new entrepreneur startup companies out there. And some of them, were all over the board. And I was just like the show I'm on, 2 Minute Drill with David Meltzer.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm on this Friday, but it's episode 1, 4, and 7. I'm on as a judge, and I'm a dick. I'm like,
are you
look,
really?
Man, like, is that how you wasted your 2 minutes? Like, you're reading? You didn't pitch your product? Like, passion is felt, baby. It's not heard. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, you got to be honest. People need to hear the truth, or I feel like you're setting them up for failure. If they think that it's perfect and it's not, you just screwed them over. So, I think we got to be brutally honest when we coach people. You don't have to be a dick, but I mean, I was kind of a dick on the show, but it's TV, right? I got to be flamboyant, and I'm the Simon Cowell of the damn 2 Minute Drill. I'm like, man, did you not hear the other guy's pitch? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, I'm losing my shit on TV. Therefore, guess what? They made me the main judge the entire season 2. High five. So that
nice.
Worked out. Right.
Congrats.
So
that's awesome.
Thank you. So, but you gotta be brutally honest. And I think coaching, when you're being coached, you got to be able to take it. And when you're coaching someone, you got to be able to give it, and not give it in a mean way, but give it in a constructive, critical way for them to be motivated to fix it. Right.
Yeah, it's certainly a skill to not only be coached, but also deliver as a coach, right? I just read a quote the other day: uncoachable kids make unemployed adults. And I think that's so true, right? I think we have to go through our life with the ability to be coached and absorb a lot of feedback that people, coaches, teachers, mentors give us, and digest it and turn it into something that is hopefully positive and allows us to grow.
I think the world, everyone's feelings are always hurt. We can't compete anymore. It's like everybody's equal and we all get participation trophies, whether you get an A or you get a D, or whether you ran a 4.2 or 5.5. I don't like that. everyone's performance is not equal, right? People may be equal. Performance is not equal. That's competition. And your score is your score. You know, if I go out and golf and I suck, and on the front nine, or if I call it the entire thing, I shoot a 125, that just means I'm horrible, right? You may shoot a 90. It means you're better than me. I can't make excuses and say we both deserve the same trophy. No. You know, you crushed it compared to me. There has to be somewhat of competition. I think it starts with our kids. And when we have this participation trophy nonsense, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I've coached many, many years, mostly girls. I've got 3 daughters, for the listeners out there didn't know, 22, 17, 13, and now my 10-year-old son, who I've coached a little bit in football. He's the hardest son of a bitch to coach, by the way. Him and me are too much alike. It's hard to deal with. But the girls, each one of them's different. You got to know how to push one, how to pull one, however you want to do it. And I can tell you, you know, parents of the kids I coached fucking loved me. They were like, I want Waller to coach. That guy's the fucking shit. My daughter is the toughest kid out there. She's in people's face. I used to tell these girls 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On defense and basketball, I want the other kid to know what you ate for breakfast. I want you so close, you can't do it today with COVID, that you're breathing on them and they're scared. I want you to be yelling when they're moving the ball. Ah! I want you to be moving your hands like a damn Tasmanian devil, and I want you to give them exactly 3 inches between your face and their face. I mean, I used to challenge the girls to do that. And I'm telling you what, our defense kicked everybody's ass all the time. We couldn't dribble for shit. We couldn't shoot for shit. We couldn't pass for shit. And half the kids I got, they had not a lot of talent anyways. But guess what? They were the toughest girls out there. Nobody scored on them. We won a ton of games because they played as a team and they played tough. And I empowered these girls to be strong, not passive, but strong. We weren't out there flagrantly fouling anybody unless it was necessary. But usually, I'm kidding, by the way, nobody judge. But usually, I just pressured them to put major defense on, make them uncomfortable, get in their face, you know, make some noises, move your hands, make it hard for them. You're not here to make friends, you're here to win. So you need to get in their face and get that ball and attack the ball. I mean, we had so many jump balls. Every time that ball was free, that's most of the drills we worked on, was stealing the ball in a pass and jump balls. You know, how every time you see it, just grab, because it's a possession turnover. We worked on that all the time, and our defense was always the best. So I'd have parents come up to me. It was a great, you know, it was a great feeling, a great compliment when they're like, I love when my daughter's on your team, and she plays so much more with more tenacity and more passion, and she's excited and she's tough on defense. You know, they love that. And I was never lucky enough to have, you know, the Michael Jordan on my team of the girls' basketball teams. You know, usually we coached against them, and sometimes we beat them, and sometimes we lost to them. But we had a good amount of team, and we played team ball, kind of like those Pistons did in, you know, 03, 04 time frame. Yeah. You know, that was the kind of mentality I've had coaching girls' basketball. And girls' softball was okay, too. I mean, I did coach girls' softball at 8, and one time I think I hold the record for the only youth coach to be thrown out of the entire stadium at 8 years old, softball.
Why?
And it's not my fault, dude. This goes out to This goes out to that son of a bitch ref out there, that umpire. You know, somebody gave him a 20 or something on this 8-year-old 8U softball game. Something happened. Because, you know, look, I'm a competitor, right? I want to win at all cost. Whatever it takes, I want to win. If that means we're best friends and we're running, but I got to, they say, you got to take John's arm off to win. Motherfucker, you got one arm. But we're winning because I'm about winning. So when we're playing, everyone's like, well, you know, you're just playing to have fun. Bullshit. I don't coach to have fun. I tell the parents, guys, we're here to learn. We're here to get better. We're here to win. Fun comes after. It's fun winning. It's not fun losing. I tell the parents that. That's how I coach. You don't like it? You volunteer your time for free. Ain't nobody paying me to coach. I do it for free. I volunteered my time. I also don't like daddy ball. Anybody that's ever played on my team, they know that I am harder on my kids. If my kid is equal to your kid, John, your kid starts. But if my kid's better than your kid, my kid starts. But it's got to be clear. And I tell my kids that. In fact, my 13-year-old, she never got to start in any basketball game on the travel team that I coached. She was always, you know, 6th or 7th best player on the team. And I felt bad for her. My wife gave me shit one time. Like, you know, I said, well, dude, she's She's the 6th best player. I can't start her. Nothing I can do. But it made her better. You know, when she went in, she made it count. But back to that softball game. So they had that pitch and arm thing back in 8U softball. And we're in the this is the playoff game. The championship game's the following week. And
hang on, the pitching arm thing.
Yeah, it's like a blue machine. You put the softball in, you roll it back,
gotcha.
it pitches
Okay.
it, you know, bam.
Yeah, pitching
right?
machine.
Yeah,
okay.
pitching machine. So we're out there, and our kids are winning the game 4-2. And we hit the ball, and it's going to be a double. It puts a girl on first, on third, and the girl's on second. Well, you're allowed to run one base on an overthrow. So as our girl's going to third and the girl's going to second, they threw it to third. And as she was trying to catch it third, it went past her, so I sent her home. Well, she's on her way home, and they bring the ball back in, and they lift the hand up. And they say, okay, time, she's got to go back. And I'm like, what do you mean she's got to go back? She's more than halfway there. She's almost at home. They stop the play. It's a run. Ref's like, no, and he gets an attitude. He's like, in my face. He's a young, chubby kid, got nothing better to do but get paid $25 to coach 8U softball. I understand he's volunteering his time, as am I. He's still getting paid. Is in my face. I'm like, dude, I'm a grown-ass man, too. What are you doing? Like, he's getting loud. I'm like, all right, whatever. I let it go. Next play, our girl hits it to the pitcher. Pitcher throws it home. Our girl running home. The girl tries to catch it. They bumble into each other. Our girl touches home plate. He calls our girl out. What do you mean she's out? She ran into the catcher. I said, the catcher's blocking the base. He's like, you need to tone it down. I was like, okay.
Did the catcher catch the ball, though?
No.
Oh, he dropped it. Or she dropped it.
Yeah, she, boom, dropped it and stayed in the base lane. And our player kind of didn't run her over, just kind of shoved her, bumped her a little bit and touched home plate. Called her out. I said, dude, she's blocking. This is her fault, not our fault. He didn't understand. Next girl comes up, hits it to second base. Second base goes to throw it to first base. Our girl is safe by a Kentucky mile, dude. I mean, I'm talking boom, boom, safe, then get the ball. Calls her out. I go ballistic. I go, dude, what are you doing? He goes, excuse me? I said, look, I understand they're kids. I said it just like this, John. I understand they're kids. But can you, not do the other team any favors? They're only down 2 runs. Let the kids play. What are you doing? Are you accusing me of cheating? No, I'm accusing you of not seeing what's going on. You're out of here. I said, I'm what? You're out of the game. You need to sit down. I said, I don't need to sit down. He said, you need to go sit down. I said, listen, buddy. Someone needs to whip, and I whispered in his ear, someone needs to whip your ass. You got a fucking problem. He threw me out of the stadium. I get a call from the commissioner. I'm not allowed to come back. I'm like, this fucking kid. So I worked it out, and I got to go to the next game at the next place. But I'm a passionate dude. I coach my girls to win. I coach them to play as a team. You know, I coach them to be tough. I do the same thing with the boys. And I always tell my daughters and my son, if they give 110% effort, you're never going to hear me bitch if we lose. If we lose because someone beat us, they beat us. They were the better team. We gave it our all. But if we lose because we shit the bed, because somebody didn't give the effort, because somebody didn't put the force on and do what they were supposed to do, I say, hey, can we go get a slushie? No, we ain't getting no slushie. Why? Because you stunk it up, dude. Because you only tried 80%. Because you got pissed off and threw your damn helmet. That's why. It'd be different if you tried, you got beat. But no, you beat yourself. We're not going to go celebrate. We're going to learn, and we'll celebrate the next time. I'm tough like that on my kids. And I'm tough on that on all those kids I coached. And hopefully they appreciate that. But it's life. That's how life is. Coaching is about getting them ready for life. You mentioned it. Kids that are not coachable can't get jobs. If you can't hold these kids accountable to the realization of they are succeeding or they're not, and everything's about effort. If you try as hard as you can, but you don't succeed, well, people appreciate effort and you learned why you didn't succeed. But if you don't even try, you're a fucking quitter. You didn't do anything. You quit.
Exactly, right?
And that's how life is.
It's exactly how life is. It's the struggle that allows you to grow, right? It's when it's your most uncomfortable moments that allows growth. It sucks at the time. And to your point of the kids appreciating it, They certainly do. I can almost guarantee you they do. But the thing about it is it sucks at the time for a student or a player or somebody that's, you know, being coached in the business world. It's hard at the time to self-reflect and go through that grind. But like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, like, man, I'm glad I had that mean motherfucker in my life.
I'm telling you, people need that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't stand those coaches that, like, look, and here's my rules. I coached softball, travel softball for a hot minute, loved it. There's a thing called pool games, and then there's the tournament. So you show up and you play 2 pool games. They rank everybody by wins, losses, and run difference. And then they put you in the A bracket, the B bracket, or the C bracket. Now, the teams in the C bracket still get the same trophy as the A bracket. They're just trying to pair up the teams correctly. I'm a big believer in this. In the pool games, I give everyone an opportunity to play. So I play all 4 pitchers. I rotate all the people that usually be sitting on the bench and not starting equally. I track their stats. I pay attention to the game on defense and how much they're paying attention. Come time for the tournament, I pick the best players that tried the most in the pool games. Our best player has had to sit because they shit the bed in the pool games. I'm okay with that. That doesn't mean I'm going to keep them out the entire game, but it means I'm going to start the players that did the best in the pool games. That's just the way I am. And whatever happens, happens. A lot of teams, when they go to these pool games and coaching, they wouldn't do that. They would, you know, go in and just play the bench players so they can go to lower bracket and dominate, or they play their best players because they're that great of a team and they go in and dominate. Yeah, I'm not about that. See, to me, the pool games is where we learn. The pool games is where we get the practice. The pool games is where people can shine. The tournament game's your money game. All right, now, everybody did good today. They're on fire. They're playing right now. If I got to make a switch, I make a switch. But everybody's got their chance to play now if I have to switch them out. And that's just always worked for me. And it's, you know, in basketball, you know, if you missed a practice, you didn't get to start. Yeah. You know, it made you want to go to practice. You'd be our best player. It doesn't mean you're not going to play, but it sets them up for accountability in school and jobs and teaching people. And, you know, I just think coaching's so important for youth. And in business, I have a CEO coach I go to. You know, I struggle sometimes in my position. You know, there's 5 executives and, you know, sometimes I get a little frustrated or a little heated or a little confused. Hey, what are we doing? How do we get there? I'll go and have a reset and have a breakfast with my CEO coach and kind of tell them what's going on, and getting extra eyes and ears on the situation only makes me smarter. You know, to accept coaching makes you smarter, not weaker. It makes you better. It makes you learn. It makes you stronger. And people seem to forget that.
Yeah, they really do. My question for you is, like, you know, how coaching can make you uncomfortable. Are there situations where, is it usually always like feedback that you kind of get from things that have already happened, or are there any things that are proactive from your coach where it's like, hey, I want you to try this, or maybe work on this, where it makes you uncomfortable? And I have a hard time. I don't feel like you're a guy that gets uncomfortable, but if there is a time, like, is there situations where you're like, man, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's the best?
It's like you're listening to my phone calls, John. So it didn't happen for my CEO coach, but, you know, we're going to market here and talking to big investment companies. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we talk to our broker. And so they prep us, and we get our deck sheets and we go over them. And Steve and I are running the charge here, you know, to really be the face and the brand of the company, talking to these investment companies to come in. And, you know, this is new waters for me. We did it when we brought in TriVest. They're a minority. I don't know where this is going to lead, but this is the next step to get us closer to the IPO or the gain share we always talk about, right? We need this one because the next one this leads to the next one that changes everything. So this is the first step to get to that, because you got to negotiate everything for the next one. So we're going through this and we're talking to some big equity firms, like the ones you see on TV, the big boys. And so we sit down with our broker and they want to do this. We got to do a dry run, a practice. Now, I feel like Allen Iverson. I'm like, practice? Man, I don't need no practice. Like, hey, I'm J-Dubs, baby.
For everyone out there, like, I've been around you enough to see that your first run at something is usually the best one. After that, Like, it's just like, it wasn't as good. Like, the first one is always the best. And that's why.
It's overthinking it, dude. I don't want to
Yeah,
sit there
yeah.
and kick my own ass, dude. I want to just run with what I believe in my heart. So they're like, we got to do this dry run and practice. And I'm like, guys, they're like, no, these are big companies. I'm like, okay. So it's kind of corny. We go over it. Hey, MJ, we're going over the deck, right? And then there's a slide that gets me excited. And so I'm like, and this is why we do this, and we do this, we do this, we do, and I'm going through the whole aspects of, why we do energy efficiency and why we do battery and storage and why we do solar and why this matters with American made panels. And I'm talking about everything. Well, the brokers go, hey, Jayson, like you explained that great, but you're going to be talking to like finance guys. Maybe you can like turn the level down just a little bit because I don't want to like scare them. You don't want to be like the commercial or anything, selling them on this. Now, we can agree to disagree. And I just go, okay, let me tell you what happened. As practice. So I was uncomfortable because they wanted me to do that. I said, if I felt like that was the right coaching, I would have listened. I felt like it was the wrong coaching. You can't ask me to not be me. But I had to adjust something. I couldn't be too passionate. I couldn't be too extreme. I had to pick my moments. So I was like, how can I do that? So I took some of what they said, but not all of it. And as the opportunity came, we talked to company X. I said, rather than being like, yeah, this is why we do it, I said, listen, this is why we do it, and it's because of this, 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 and this. So I kind of met in the middle, and I went over it. And they were so engaged. They were up off their seats. They were not exhausted. They were paying attention to what I was saying. I had the body language. I had the audience. We got off the call. They were like, dude, that couldn't go any better. Well, if I'd have went his way and been like, well, this is why we do things.
Yeah.
But I also couldn't be like, and this is why we do things, because that's naturally me. I had to find a middle. So I listened to the coaching and adjusted on the fly. But it's important because that one made me feel uncomfortable. All I thought about as I was looking at that next slide was, shit, I better not shit the bed here. I better bring my A game. I better pitch it right. Here's what they're saying, and they know more than me. And here's who I am, and I can't be fake. I got to find the middle. And that's what I did, and it worked out wonderful.
Dude, that's awesome. I can't imagine you toning anything down because you're right. That is.
By the way, if you watch my Senate when I'm up there against the Senate here in Michigan, I tone it down.
Yeah, but you still speak with the same conviction and passion that you do. Maybe you're not as loud and like as hyper.
That's all I did is turn down my volume, but I stayed solid.
It's hard not to listen when you're talking.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's a good thing. I wish my kids would listen when I talk.
Well, they hear you talk all the time.
I'm like, guys, they're like, huh? I'm like, dude, did you hear what I said? No.
Right.
So, listen, to bring this back, coaching's important. We all need coached, right? And you don't have to have just one coach. You can have several coaches. I used to call my dad when I first moved out on my own. I had a kid. I'd call him every night. Hey, Pops, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? How do I pay this? I'm struggling with that. How do I manage that? You got to have somebody to talk to. In business, if you think you're bigger than everything and you think you know it all, you're going to fail. It's not when. I'm sorry, it's not if, it's when. You're going to fail. But if you're humble and you're willing to learn from people, no matter how successful you are, you're going to continue to do great things. I purposely try to learn from everybody. Anybody I can talk to, I can learn from. I'm open to learn and be coached. And I'm open to try to coach when I can. Because that's what it's about here. I mean, if we can make life a little easier, make the process a little more simple, make the results a little quicker, then everybody's winning. And that's what it's about. You can't hold on to secret sauce and never coach anybody or think you're going to know it all. I mean, trust me. I lean on Murph all the time to be coached. Ben, Kevin. I mean, I listen to you. I've been telling your Buffalo Cal story for like to 3 different people now, even on an episode. There you go. That's a great story.
It is a good story, isn't it? But yeah, I think we have a dynamic group, at least around us and here, where That is important. I think one of the best ways, I mean, you don't like, it doesn't have to be a formal coach for all the listeners, right? It can just be you reaching out and asking questions. I think asking questions not only allows you to learn much quicker and better, and obviously you're way more into the conversation when you're asking the questions, but it also allows the person answering the question to feel some self-fulfillment that you had the ability to go out and ask the question. Like, if I ask you for help, people always want to help people. Like, that makes that person feel good. You're not bugging them. You're putting them in a position that allows them to mentor or coach you and give you that feedback.
People want to feel needed.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So ask questions. I tell my kids every day before I leave, I was like, ask your teacher 3 questions today.
That's great.
Ask them questions. Like, I don't care. Like, just ask them questions. And as long as you're engaging, man, it changes the game. Players that ask a lot of questions, Kobe Bryant asked a ton of questions.
Yes, he did.
Played.
Yes, he did.
And he's one of the best basketball players ever. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
And you ask a ton of questions. You ask a lot of hard questions, too.
I like to know everything. My son asks a lot of questions, too. Asking questions is how you learn.
It really is.
You got to figure
So coach or
out.
not, yeah, ask questions.
Well, that's great. I'm glad we can talk and catch up, John, and stay healthy. And listen, listeners, viewers out there, check me out on Clubhouse. It's Jayson Waller. You can check out Instagram, Jayson Waller Bam, Facebook, Jayson Waller. Go to JaysonWaller.com, TrueUnderdog.com. You can check John and myself out on several episodes, YouTube, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast. And if you leave me a review and you send the picture of the review and give me your shirt size, we'll send you a swag bag. Bam! And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!